Welcome to Hey Clarity. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today we are opening the Akashic Records on the collective for the month of November 2024. So normally I do monthly Akashic Records readings for the collective in my newsletter, and I decided that I want to experiment and move my collective readings to YouTube. So we're going to be doing monthly readings, and we're going to be doing moon event readings, so new moons and full moons here on YouTube. So we'll see how that goes. I just want to keep things together on one platform. The way that I do my monthly readings is I ask 3 questions. One, what's the opening message or opening visual? Kind of what's the tone or the energy of the month? 2, I always ask, how can we remain adaptable? Or like, what do we need? What will we need for support in that month? And then lastly, what's the most important message? So these monthly readings will be shorter because there are only 3 questions. Obviously, that depends on how long of an answer the records have for each of those questions, but they'll probably be shorter than the topic readings that I do here on the channel. So without further ado, let's get into our monthly collective reading for November 2024. Big month for some places in the world. So let's see. First question, what's the opening message or opening visual for the collective for November 2024? They're showing kind of like piles of leaves and this like roller coaster of like out of the leaves, under the leaves, out of the leaves, under the leaves. And they're saying like roller coasters, and they're referencing the leaves as like, they're like falling, but it's also like debris. And it feels like riding these roller coasters, these ups and these downs. The people I'm seeing on this roller coaster, up and down, like they look like they're having a good time. They're saying getting through it. So getting through the roller coasters. And there's like the leaves kind of representing like the harvest on the ground, and also like dead things on the ground, working with the debris, working with, they're saying what once was. These like the visuals are, they're saying like many levels of symbolism. And they're saying make connections. There's like generational, there's cyclical, seasonal, like annual, generational connections to be made. They're saying to be made of, like generations of cycles, kind of completed some of the old cycles, old generations, cycles completed. And the fact that like these leaves are on the ground and they've fallen, they're saying it's cause for celebration, that there are some traditions or belief systems, old things that have reached their peak, that are past due, or they're overdue for new cycles. And I'm seeing like celebrations in like the debris of these traditions on the ground. Like I'm just getting a new cycle. And again, with this like seasonal, right? These kind of the snapshot of like the leaves on the ground, and, you know, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in fall. And they're saying like, we're celebrating what once was, and kind of the finality of some of those cycles, traditions, belief systems, knowing that we're going into winter and that spring will come. So knowing that, okay, there's a closed chapter going into winter, And then they're saying like the building, the resting, the restoring, the planning. They're saying like the going into darkness, knowing that come like spring of next year, of a new year, that these new seeds can be planted. They're saying generation and generated. Generation and generated. And they're like generated seeds, like we're generating seeds to be planted for this new cycle. So there's they're saying like there's an excited commitment. And then again, this like appreciation and celebration of what once was. But I think that the appreciation comes from knowing that there's an end and that it's over. Anything else around opening messages or opening visuals? They're flipping a coin in the air, like, and we're like watching it fall. And they're saying something about there being a cause for celebration regardless of the outcome. I wonder what that's about. Okay. Second question. How can we remain adaptable throughout the month of November? Or like what might we need for support? How can we remain adaptable? They're showing a snail moving very slowly, and they're saying slow down, take your time. They're saying be a snail. Be like a snail in like everything that you do. They're like, everyone, slow down. Don't rush. Do not rush. There's no reason to rush. Immediately following results, outcome, there might be a burst of like wanting to spring into action, and they're saying springtime, kind of getting ahead of ourselves. And they're like, but wait, because they're like the generating and the germinating of seeds. But the planning of which seeds are we planting, like what's best in what places, and what are the best conditions to nurture these seeds. Like, it's like everything needs to be in its right place. Everything in its right place. And each of us individually, they're like individual, collective, individually, we need to be restored. We need to be in restoration mode in November. And maybe you're creative thinking. Maybe you're coming up with ideas, innovations, inventions, solutions. They're saying like artistic endeavors, like let that stuff bubble up in you. And they're showing like the silhouette of a person's body, and it's like all this stuff, subconscious becomes conscious, like all these ideas, all these things start bubbling up in them. And then it's like, bing, there's the seed. There's the light bulb right there. Now you know what seeds to plant. And it could be like, bing, seed here, bing, seed here, bing, seed here. So you might have multiple places, they're saying, multiple people, multiple ideas, innovations, inventions. So let the ideas come up. And they're saying like with the restoration, with yourself being able to relax, restore, that stuff up in your subconscious mind can bubble up. But if you're overthinking, they're like, that's all going to stay pushed down. That's all going to stay pushed down. It's going to be hard for you to access those parts of you to come up with those ideas. They're saying popular. It's a popular belief system that we have to like overthinking and like hustle and like have to get it done right now. And they're like, a new future, a new cycle requires a new way of living and a new way of coming up with concepts. And it's like, we're recognizing that like for us to be at our best, we need to experience long restoration, they're saying. They're saying just like you see in winter, like all of the animals go into hibernation. They rest, they restore, they take care of themselves. They're saying they get warmth, they get cozy, they go inward, inner workings, inner world, and they're like, follow suit, like follow the cycles of your season. And they're like, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what season it is in the world, they're saying best solutions, overcoming problems with solutions happen more efficiently, easier. Once you have balance, they're like balancing, harmonizing the equilibrium within yourself, so that it's like they're like, oh, teetering chaos, like woo woo, like we get really like set off balance. And it's like once we are just like chill, and they're like, some of you might think that that's boring or that's boredom, and they're just like whatever. But when you're like relaxed and at this nice harmonious baseline, then all this cool stuff comes up from your subconscious, all these great ideas. They're like old ideas, new ideas coming together and like merging into something else for this new cycle. So they're saying like, don't be afraid of it. Like if you feel like it's uncomfortable to like kind of lay low and go in for, they're saying for those who are uncomfortable in that place, that feel like they need to be doing all the time, they're like scattered by, the world and other people. They're just like, there needs to be like a restoration mode, a restoration period, like in your lives, in our lives. And it's individual, collective. And they're saying it's not wasting time. Like you're not wasting time when you're doing that. You actually get ahead, because what you come up with is more efficient. It's better than what you would do if you rushed into something and had to constantly redo it or rework it or throw it out. Like that's the waste of time. And so they're saying like the security, the being secure in your ideas comes from like long restoration periods. Third question, what's the most important message we need to know about November? They're saying rest in peace. They're saying death, rebirth. They're saying literally and figuratively. This is the cycle of this time of year. They're like in the Northern Hemisphere. And so, yeah, they're showing like the bones of a bird, and they're saying the death and the rebirth. This is a very important part of life. The removal of things that can't be done, that can't move forward, that can't go forward in many levels, on many levels in our lives, if that's mental, emotional, or like physical. They're saying it's a death process, but death is always rebirth as well. And they're saying, and what that means to you and what that means in your life. Experiencing a death process in some area of your life. The grief, the sadness, the sorrow, the loss. And they're saying, and the love. Big love. And they're showing that love, like flowing out of a heart, like almost like this flood, this rainbow, little Care Bear, kind of like flooding out of your heart. It's like right there with the sadness and grief is like all of this love. And they're showing this love just like pouring out of our hearts and like spilling all over the land in front of us, all over the world in front of us. And they're saying, that's a new cycle. That's the new cycle. The formation and the foundation of a new cycle. The foundation is from a place of overflowing love. And they're saying, don't forget about that. Don't forget about that. With great loss and grief and sadness comes a whole lot of love. And they're saying more than you know. So like, allow it. Allow the grief, allow the sadness. Celebrate and appreciate what once was, what we may have lost, who we may have lost, and let it be filled with lots of love. Okay, so that was the Akashic Records collective messages for the month of November. I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know how that resonates with you in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys next time.